During the Sengoku, or Warring States, period after Madara was defeated by Hashirama Senju. In an effort to carry out Madara's plan during the end of the Third Great Ninja War, Madara had a son. Okay, so the story of what if Madara had a son is gonna start off with everything going the same. The attack of Konoha is still going to happen, however the only difference that is going to be changing. The story is that Madara's son Mosera is going to be born before Naruto. So he's only gonna be about 3 years old during the Nine Tails attack on Konoha in this version of the story. Nobody would know that Madara has a son, or the fact the Madara was even still alive. Most people didn't even know Madara existed except for a few people here and there. Time skip a few weeks after the Nine Tails attack, when things cooled down and Obito made sure it was safe. Obito left Madara's son outside the village gates. When Shinobi found the child, it was alone and abandoned. So they did the only thing they could do and take him to the Hokage so they could figure out a course of action. When the Shinobi arrived and informed the Hokage of the situation, he ran a few tests on the boy. The child has an incredibly large amount of chakra for his age, probably around low Chunin level. They also discovered that he was an Uchiha after running a few DNA tests, and it was at that point clear that they couldn't just get rid of the boy even if they wanted to. So the Uchiha head was called up by the Hokage in order to resolve the situation, and after a few minutes of discussion they decided in order to protect clan secrets the child was to be raised in Konoha, not in the Uchiha compound, as they didn't want people to think the Uchiha weren't a pure bloodline, so the child's existence was rated an S-class secret. And so the child, being only 3 years old, was given a small apartment and until he was old enough to take care of himself also given a babysitter. Time skip 3 years, he was 6 now and he started training. Nothing too crazy, just basic chakra control, taijutsu and shuriken throwing. It was at 6 years old he had already made a name for himself in the village as a prodigy, and during the 3-year time skip Mosera would discover Madara's existence within him, and would come to know him as his father, as he actually was Madara's son, and he didn't have any parents to begin with. He learned all about the mindscape. Madara shared his story, his pain, all via a genjutsu, so even at the age of 6 he knew how the shinobi world worked and was trained by Madara in his fighting style and helped him with his shuriken throwing and chakra control. So by the end of the 3-year time skip, he was around mid-Jonin level, already more powerful and intelligent than Itachi was at his age. The village noticed this and he was offered a spot in the Anbu, which he turned down as Madara told him it was a better idea to spend his time at the academy and make friends, as during the 3-year time skip Madara grew ever so slightly softer as he grew attached to his son Mosera. And Mosera during this time skip also grew a reputation for being very kind and helping around the village, even occasionally helping around the Uchiha compound. Needless to say, the Uchiha were very fond of the boy. He even had some friends in the compound, one of which being Sasuke and Itachi. Itachi was very impressed with his power and intelligence, even noticing that he has more potential than he did and could definitely surpass him someday, occasionally even sparring with Sasuke and Itachi. Sasuke would always get upset after losing to Mosera every time, never winning even once. And his relationship with the Uchiha clan and even the clan head's family would only continue to grow. Time skip Mosera is now 9 years old, still an exceptional prodigy, very popular amongst the Uchiha. Almost everyone knew Mosera, and those who didn't mind him being around. Mosera wears an all-black outfit with an Anbu vest and a kunai pouch on his left leg. Both the vest and pouch wear a gift from Itachi on his 9th birthday. His hair was long like Madara's, but not as long, as he's only 9, and he has a small sword kinda like the one Kakashi had. The one that was his father's. He has black eyes like all the Uchiha. So he fit in pretty well mainly because he was an Uchiha, but nobody really knew that. And as for his personality, he was taught to be very proud. He was very calm and collected like Itachi was, and he wasn't afraid of anything really, and he loved a good challenge. One funny thing is during the time he was learning taijutsu from Madara, he would go on to pick up his habit of saying let's dance whenever he was in a fight. He also has a very special Sharingan which he'll unlock later on. It's called the Eternal Mangekyo Infinite Rinne Sharingan. It has every ability that both the Rinnegan and Sharingan has combined with no toll on the user. And some other abilities, but that's for another part. It was at this point when he would finally join the academy at 9 years old, and he's allowed into the academy after easily smashing the exam with flying colors, and the teachers would be so impressed they would actually ask him if he wanted to move up a grade, but he ultimately refused so he could be in the same class as his friend Sasuke, as they would have been close friends for a good few years now. So after that he would enter the classroom where he would notice Naruto, and immediately when Naruto looked at Mosera, when he noticed the whole class looking at him as he was the top freshman, Naruto's chest would begin to hurt as he grabs his shirt in throbbing pain. As Kurama would sense Madara inside of Mosera and get angry, Kurama would surely settle down as he didn't want to kill the brat because he used too much chakra, thinking that would surely be the most embarrassing ways for a Kyuubi to go out. Everyone feeling Naruto's chakra switched from glaring at Mosera to Naruto in shock, as they all assumed he was just a weak nobody prankster. After feeling the Kyuubi's chakra, they were all stunned until Iruka Sensei walked in and gave them all their tests to become Genin. Sasuke passed as he was stronger than in canon, as he would often spar with Mosera and they would train together. Naruto failed just like in canon. He would later pass the same way as in canon and learn the shadow clone. Mosera made a real shadow clone, which surprised everyone but not Sasuke, as he also made one, and it was Mosera that helped Sasuke learn the jutsu. Both Sasuke and Mosera were the two Mr. Populars in the school, and during the spars Naruto would lose to Sasuke the same way as in canon. Sasuke would lose to Mosera, making Naruto see the power difference between them. He would train himself even harder, becoming even stronger than in canon, and actually gets a good handle on his chakra control. He also makes Mosera his rival after seeing Sasuke's defeat. There were no hard feelings, as Sasuke was friends with Mosera and knew how strong he was, although Mosera let Sasuke win often to keep the score of win and losses close because he knew Sasuke has an inferiority complex. So it was 110 Mosera 109 Sasuke. Mosera helped Sasuke up, and the rest of the battles were very underwhelming. It was at this point where everyone passed, and an important thing to note is that Sasuke and Mosera were such good friends that even after the Uchiha massacre both Sasuke and Mosera were still very close friends, although not only did Sasuke unlock the one tomo, to Sasuke's surprise after telling him the new Mosera showed his 3 tomo to Sasuke. Mosera hit his knees and said, "If only I had made it back sooner, I could have stopped Itachi." That was what they both thought and said out loud. They only grew closer after that, and they later moved in with each other at the Uchiha compound, which was abandoned. Sasuke vowed to kill Itachi. Mosera was smart and knew why he did it, but he still offered to help Sasuke, as Itachi told Mosera to stay by his side as his friend or big brother, as he couldn't be there for Sasuke. Getting back to the team selections, Team 7 Sasuke, Naruto and Mosera. Sakura was sent home for being a trash can, and we now had a team of 3.5 Uchiha squad of Kakashi, Sasuke and the son of Madara and Naruto. The rest of the teams went as they did in canon when they all met up at the roof to meet with Kakashi. They all said their goals. Naruto and Sasuke's went the same as in canon. Mosera said, "I just wanna be a shinobi. That can make my father proud." Kakashi would understand. That's when he'd think back to his father. Tsukumo Hatake. This is where Kakashi would give his whole speech about not eating, and the next morning Sasuke and Naruto were waiting in the training ground for Kakashi, but Mosera would sleep in as he's AG and wouldn't be waiting there for hours, and he also knew Kakashi would be late as he heard all the horror stories from Itachi about his tardiness, and so he slept in and ate breakfast. Mosera arrived 1 minute before Kakashi did. 1 minute time skip. Kakashi arrives and tells them about the bell test. Kakashi says begin, and Sasuke and Mosera vanish. The smoke clears and Naruto appears to be standing there, and the fight goes the same way as it does in canon, with Naruto falling into every trap. Sasuke comes close but fails to get the bells. Now it's Mosera's turn. Kakashi doesn't sense him when suddenly 2 shuriken fly out of some bushes. He dodges them and then sees a wire, but it's too late. They wrap around him and then he hears fire-style majestic destroyer flame. Kakashi's eyes widen as he sees a jutsu he's never seen before. Now this isn't a Madara-level flame, this is probably 20 times smaller than Madara's. So the most it would take to put out the fire is a water dragon or a water bullet jutsu. As it hits Kakashi, everyone is in shock. Naruto is screaming, "Oh no, he's dead, what are we gonna do?" When the fire finally dies out, all they see is a burned vest, and Kakashi walks out of the bushes saying, "Phew. That was a close one, didn't think a genin could use such powerful jutsu." Kakashi had to use his vest as a substitution to escape. Kakashi had his Sharingan active and was slightly burned. Suddenly Mosera hears, "Let me take over after all, you're almost out of time, I'll get you those bells. Without using my Sharingan this might be fun." Mosera, "Okay father. Just don't kill him, I don't want people to know how strong I really am yet." Madara takes over and says, "Okay Kakashi, let's see what that Sharingan of yours is capable of." Kakashi feels an ominous aura coming off of Mosera, like he's a different person now. Kakashi feels worried. Almost as though he has to fight seriously or he'll be killed. Madara runs toward Kakashi. Kakashi puts his guard up. Madara says while running towards Kakashi, "Let's dance, copy ninja." They engage in taijutsu, throwing punches, spin kicks, flips. Kakashi throws a kunai at Madara. To Kakashi's surprise, Madara catches it and starts fighting with it. Kakashi starts using his jutsu Madara fire style Fireball Jutsu, and a massive fireball shoots out towards Kakashi. As Kakashi evades it, Madara grabs the bells. Madara switches back to Mosera. "Did you have fun?" Madara, I barely tried," with a grin on his face. Madara tells Mosera about the secret test and the fact that the test is not to get the bells but it's actually teamwork. Mosera throws the bells to Sasuke and Naruto and says he'll go back. Sasuke, being his friend, starts yelling, "No way, you shouldn't have to go back, you got the bells. If anything it should be Naruto, that loser. All he did was fall for obvious traps and get in the way." Mosera tells Sasuke to calm down. "It's fine, we'll all pass. After all, he can't have a squad with only 2 members, plus it was only a test to see how well we'd use teamwork." Kakashi is just standing there dumbfounded at what just happened. Not even aware of what's going on. Kakashi thinks, Did I just lose? These kids are something else entirely. I should inform Kage-sama. Kakashi tells them to get some rest while he fills in a report. Sasuke says, "I'll pass on that. Mosera and I are gonna train some more. After all, you've gotta show me how you did that destroyer flame jutsu. I've never heard of it before and it's not in the Uchiha library. How did you learn that anyway?" Mosera, "I have my secrets." Sasuke hemp everyone goes their separate ways to train some more. That's it for part 1. I'll see you in part 2.